Hello, this is my spreadsheet presentation for financing the athletic activities program class, and I'm just going to go ahead and explain my spreadsheet and the different fees associated with transportation through the school that I currently coach high school baseball at. So, after speaking with the athletic director, the transportation deal that they have with the bus company, the local bus company, is actually a pretty good deal. Basically, what they do is they pay a base fee of $65, which is marked over in this column, for each trip that they take. And then they also pay 35 cents per mile, which is notated up here. When the commute is more than 2 hours, they usually pay a $30 reservation fee just to secure transportation. Basically, that just reserves a spot in case for some reason they were short bus drivers, or something were to happen, they're guaranteed transportation that day. The reason why the base fee is $65 and they pay the 35 cents per mile is basically a contract that they came up with for a certain amount of years. And it also includes some advertising for banner space in the gymnasium for the bus company. So obviously, there's a little bit more worked into it just than these fees for the actual transportation trips. But this is pretty much how they break it down after those parts of the deal are done. So this spreadsheet is pretty self-explanatory. I didn't organize it by date just because the dates were so different. But basically, the way the schedule lays out for the boys basketball and girls basketball teams at the high school level is they pretty much play all the same teams away. They work on 2-year contracts. So I basically was able to take the schedule from last year and kind of switch it up in terms of how the games were laid out. So as you can see in this first column over here, these are all the away games, and so these are all games that transportation would be necessary for. And so the yellow highlighted games are freshman level games, and then the green highlighted games are going to be the JV and varsity games. Typically, JV and varsity play on the same night. Usually the boys play on the same night and the girls play on the same night. There are some times when the girls varsity and the boys varsity play together, and the girls JV and boys JV play together. However, whenever the JV and varsity teams are paired up, they'll take the same bus because of the participation numbers. And so you see that notated over here. So there's usually about, depending on the year, to about 9 to 10 away games in the regular season, and then the last end season tournament is run over 2 to 3 days, depending on how many teams are in the conference for each specific grade level. And then you can see at the bottom the districts or sub-state as how it's run in Kansas. Obviously is over a few different days, and the locations are usually there's one host site for the semifinals and championship game, and then the higher seed will host on the first day. And so obviously that's to be determined. So I didn't really factor that into the final transportation costs. So you can see the games are broken down by boys basketball and girls basketball and where the different schools are at. Kansas State Christian is located in Prairie Village, Kansas. So it's kind of the metro area in Kansas City. And so these are the games that they play away. Over here is the round trip mileage for both dates. So this would be mileage that is going to be spent, determined by that 35 cents per mile for both the girls basketball games and boys basketball games. And you can see I usually round it up if it was close instead of rounding down. And you can see the base fee is all over here. So you're paying $65 per trip, and then you're paying per mile. So down here is the total mileage that will be driven, I guess, or ridden for the teams. So it's 1,074 miles, and that's before the conference and district tournaments for basketball. And that equals $376 when you do it by 35 cents a mile. And then over here you have your base fee of $65, which totals 1,430. and you add those together, and the total transportation cost for the girls in basketball season is $1,806. And like I said, there's other parts of the agreement that are worked into this equation as well. Like I said, there's some advertising on a banner for the bus company in the gymnasium, so that plays a part in that fee. So that is my spreadsheet for this week's class, and I hope I explained it as well as possible. Thank you guys.